Let's start our first news with Daniel Cormier questioning whether Khamzat and Sean Strickland can ever sell their rivalry again. The tension between Strickland and Khamzat has started heating up again, especially after Sean recently signaled that he would be open to facing Khamzat in a rematch. But according to Daniel Cormier, fans may no longer believe the trash talk between them. The build-up to UFC 328 was absolutely wild. Both fighters exchanged insults and threats throughout fight week, and security concerns became so serious that they had police escorts. Strickland even posted his location in an apparent attempt to provoke Khamzat, creating even more chaos around the matchup. But after Strickland pulled off the upset and defeated Khamzat, everything suddenly changed. Sean apologized, and the two appeared almost friendly as they left the arena. That moment may have completely changed how fans view their rivalry. Cormier explained that when fighters talk about hating each other, fans expect that hatred to continue beyond the fight. But when Strickland himself essentially admitted that some of it was part of selling the fight, the curtain was pulled back. Cormier believes that makes it extremely difficult to convince fans that these two are genuine enemies if the UFC books a rematch. He also pointed out that Khamzat remains one of the most dominant fighters in the division, meaning there is a strong possibility he eventually works his way back toward another championship opportunity. Strickland could still claim that his apology was simply an attempt to calm the situation down, and that his feelings have not changed. But Cormier's point remains clear. Fans may still love watching these two fight. But selling the rematch as a bitter personal rivalry could be much harder this time around. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev says he played it safe against JDM, but things could look very different when he faces Ian Garry. During his fight with JDM, Islam appeared to take a more calculated approach. His priority was getting the job done, securing the victory, and becoming a two-division champion. Rather than taking unnecessary risks, he stayed disciplined and controlled the fight from start to finish. But against Ian Garry, Islam is promising a completely different approach. The lightweight champion says he plans to take more risks, push the pace, and actively hunt for a finish, especially once the fight reaches the ground. Islam believes his grappling could create major problems for Garry, and he is confident that one successful takedown could completely change the fight. Islam has also pointed toward what he sees as a weakness in Garry's ground game. While he acknowledges that Garry has dangerous striking, excellent range, and long arms that allow him to control distance, Islam believes those advantages become much less important once the fight hits the mat. According to Islam, the moment he gets Garry down, opportunity for a finish could be there. That confidence makes this matchup especially interesting, because Islam is not simply talking about winning another decision. He is openly discussing taking more chances and looking for the submission or ground finish. And with UFC 330 getting closer, another storyline has started to attract attention. How much longer will Islam continue competing at the highest level? For now, his focus appears to be completely on Garry. If Islam follows through on his promise to take more risks, fans could be in for a much more aggressive performance than the one they saw against JDM. Move on to another news. Ilya has mocked Topuria-Pimblett after the latest controversy surrounding the infamous corner stool. The situation began when Paddy took to social media and claimed that he had personally purchased the red corner stool that Ilya sat on during his stoppage loss to Justin Gaethje. Paddy presented the stool as a piece of memorabilia, turning the entire situation into another opportunity to troll his rival and get under Ilya's skin. At first, it looked like another classic attempt to provoke Ilya. But then, the story took a very different turn. A dedicated fan came forward with video evidence and auction receipts that appeared to show she was actually the person who won the stool. According to the information shared online, she paid around $13,700 for the item. The fan also explained that she purchased the stool specifically to preserve it and prevent Ilya's rivals from using it as a way to mock him. That revelation completely changed the story surrounding Paddy's claim. What was supposed to be a clever troll quickly turned into another source of criticism, with fans questioning Paddy's version of events. Instead of creating a massive moment at Ilya's expense, The stunt appeared to backfire and generate even more attention toward the controversy. Naturally, fans were waiting to see whether Ilya would respond. And Ilya eventually did. Under a post discussing the stool situation, Ilya took a direct shot at Paddy, calling him a mushroom and adding laughing emojis. It was a short response, but the message was obvious. Rather than getting dragged into a long argument, Ilya simply used humor to fire back at his rival. The exchange adds another chapter to the growing tension between the two fighters, especially with fans continuing to speculate about a potential matchup between them down the line. For Paddy, the stool controversy was clearly intended to be a major troll. But after the ownership claim was challenged with auction evidence, the joke may have landed very differently from what he originally expected. And Ilya wasted little time making sure everyone knew he was enjoying the situation. Move on to another news, and Carlos Prates may be heading straight toward a title opportunity. The welterweight contender has suddenly become the center of attention after UFC cameras reportedly showed up at his house. Prates shared the moment on Instagram, immediately sparking speculation about what the UFC could have planned for his next fight. And then he made a statement that only added fuel to the fire. Prates addressed several welterweights who have recently been mentioning his name, including Sean Brady and Uros Medic. Instead of getting caught up in the call-outs, Prates told them to calm down because he has a much bigger goal in mind. He declared that in his next fight, he plans to take that belt. Prates made it clear that he believes his next matchup could be for the welterweight championship, and he is already talking like a man who expects to leave the fight with gold around his waist. But he did not stop there. After claiming the title, Prates said he would deal with the other welterweights one by one, sending them straight to what he dramatically called the Kingdom of Pain. The message was aggressive, but Prates also made sure to frame the situation as business rather than personal. His closing statement was simple: nothing personal, just business. Interestingly, Sean Brady appeared to embrace the message. Brady responded to Prates' post with the exact same phrase, just business. That short exchange immediately caught the attention of fans because Brady and Prates are both highly relevant names in the welterweight division. If the UFC decides to match them against each other, there is already plenty of tension and competitive motivation surrounding the matchup. However, the biggest question now is whether Prates really is being positioned for a championship fight. The appearance of the UFC film crew at his home does not automatically confirm that a title fight is next, but it certainly adds intrigue. UFC production teams frequently document fighters for promotional content, and Prates' recent comments suggest that something significant could be developing around his next appearance. For now, Prates is making his intentions very clear. He believes his next fight can take him directly to the top, and he is already preparing to chase the welterweight championship. Move on to another news. Brand new footage of Islam Makhachev sparring with Khabib Nurmagomedov has surfaced, and fans immediately noticed something very interesting. The footage shows Islam working with Khabib during preparation for his upcoming challenge against Ian Garry. The two Dagestani stars can be seen focusing heavily on striking, movement, pressure, and staying off the cage. But what really caught everyone's attention was the way the clip suddenly cuts off during an intense exchange. That left fans wondering what happened immediately afterward and why the footage ended at that particular moment. Now, a member of Khabib's team has reportedly provided more context about what was happening behind the scenes. According to the explanation, Islam's training camp for Ian Garry has already begun with high intensity, and Khabib has been heavily involved in the preparation. The purpose of these sessions appears to be more than simply sharpening Islam's technique. Khabib has been putting Islam through demanding striking situations designed to create pressure and force him to react quickly. That could be especially important against Garry, who relies heavily on his striking, reach, distance management, and ability to control the range of a fight. During the sparring footage, Khabib can be heard giving Islam constant instructions. He tells him to move, circle, stay in the middle, and avoid getting trapped against the wall. The message is simple: don't wait. Islam is being pushed to stay active, keep moving, and respond instead of allowing his opponent to dictate the pace. Khabib also emphasizes attacking the body as well as the head, showing that the training is focused on creating openings and maintaining pressure from different angles. The coaching continues with repeated commands for Islam to get out, move, and circle back toward the center. This suggests that the team is specifically working on situations where Islam could be forced backward or pressured toward the cage. For fans, the footage offers a fascinating glimpse into how one of the world's best fighters is preparing for his next major challenge. With Khabib closely involved, Islam appears to be getting pushed hard in camp, particularly in areas that could become crucial when he finally steps inside the octagon against Gary. The short clip may not reveal everything that happened during the sparring session, but it certainly shows that Islam's preparation is already underway, and the intensity is clearly rising. Move on to another news. Conor has officially undergone knee surgery following the injury he suffered at UFC 329. After weeks of discussion surrounding the injury, Conor recently revealed on social media that he was heading into surgery. He posted a short video before the procedure, telling his fans that he was getting ready for the operation and asking them to wish him well. Of course, Conor also found a way to promote his energy drink before going under the knife, keeping with his habit of promoting his businesses whenever the opportunity appears. The moment even caught the attention of Dr. Brian Sutter, who jokingly responded to Conor's announcement. He pointed out that patients are normally told to have nothing except water before surgery, while joking that Conor still had to get in one final promotion for his product. Beyond the humor, the surgery represents an important step in Conor's recovery. Since suffering the injury, he has repeatedly made it clear that he intends to return to competition. He has also spoken about wanting another fight with Max Holloway, giving fans another potential matchup to watch if he is able to make a successful comeback. There is also an important business factor behind his return. Conor reportedly has just one fight remaining on his current UFC contract, meaning completing that deal remains one of his major motivations. For now, everything depends on how his recovery progresses following the operation. A successful rehabilitation could eventually put him back inside the octagon, but the timing of that return will depend on his recovery and what his medical team allows. The latest development confirms that Conor is taking the injury seriously and has begun the next stage of his comeback. Fans will now be waiting for updates on his rehabilitation, training, and eventual return as the former champion continues working toward getting back in the octagon. Move on to another news. The Noche UFC main event has officially been announced. The UFC has revealed that Yair Rodriguez will face Gene Silva in the main event of Noche UFC, scheduled for September 12th. The matchup immediately stands out as an exciting clash between two dangerous fighters with plenty to prove. Silva enters the fight following a unanimous decision victory over Arnold Allen at UFC 324 earlier this year. That win added another important result to his record and showed that he can stay composed and competitive over the course of a full fight. Now, Silva gets an even bigger opportunity. A main event slot gives him the chance to compete under the brightest spotlight and potentially move himself much closer to the top of the division. A strong performance against Rodriguez could significantly raise his profile and establish him as an even more serious contender. Rodriguez, meanwhile, has not competed since his unanimous decision victory over Patricio Pitbull at UFC 314 last April. After spending time away from competition, he now returns to headline a major UFC event. That makes this comeback especially important. Rodriguez has built a reputation around his creativity, dangerous striking, and ability to produce unpredictable moments inside the octagon. Against Silva, however, he will face a fighter who has already shown the ability to maintain pressure and compete effectively across 3 rounds. The September 12th main event, therefore, carries plenty of significance for both men. For Silva, it is an opportunity to prove he belongs on the biggest stages in the UFC. For Rodriguez, it is a chance to remind everyone why he remains one of the division's most dangerous and experienced names. With the main event now officially set, the build-up to Noche UFC can begin in earnest. Both fighters will have months to prepare, sharpen their game plans, and make sure they are ready when the spotlight turns toward them on September 12th.